Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, class. So, how are you today? Okay, so how is your weekend? So, I hope that all of you are doing good and have a good health today. So, I hope that all of you are safe and in good health this time. So, class, welcome back into my YouTube channel. So, this time we're going to have a new lesson. We're going to talk about and discuss a new lesson, which is all about one of the most famous place and one of the most interesting and beautiful place in this universe that you should never forget to visit with. So, are you now ready to travel with me? Alright, so before that class, I will give to you some clues or hint. What is the name or what place is this? So I have here some pictures of these characters, famous characters. So I know that you are familiar with this, and I will try to challenge you to name these persons or famous characters of this. So I have here pictures. So can you now name or can you guess what are the names of these pictures, these beautiful faces, these handsome faces of these famous persons or characters? Do you know these persons? Can you now guess? Can you now name? All right. So can you please say it with me? Okay, very good. So we have here these famous, beautiful, and handsome faces of characters. So we have Athena, Zeus, Poseidon, we have Homer, and many other more famous characters. So, who are these persons? So, can you have guess what place that these persons can be related with? Can you now guess what place that we're going to tackle and discuss with this today? Alright, so these persons are some of those famous characters of some of those literary works or literary stories of the place of, yes, very good, the place of the Greek people, which is the no other than the beautiful place of Greece. Alright, so class, I have a question to you. What pops up or what comes in your mind, or what do you think, or what ideas or any other word or such a certain idea that comes up in your mind when you hear the word Greece, when you hear this place? What things that comes in your mind? All right, very good. So if you're going to ask with me, class, what will be the things that or ideas or any other words that surely will pops up in your mind when I hear the word Greece? Is of course, who can really forget those famous characters named Athena, the very handsome Zeus, we have Homer, we have the Poseidon, and many other more characters that we call as the, yes, the gods and goddesses of Greece. So those are some of the names of the gods and goddesses of the Greece. So now class, we will travel and we will explore more about the history, the cultures, the traditions, the beliefs of this Greece. So but before that class, we will first introduce and I will discuss to you and introduce to you the famous persons of this place. The famous persons who have great contributions that we also have been benefited under contribution. So, who are the names or what are the names of these famous persons? Alright, so first I have here his very handsome face, this first famous person. So, do you know this famous person, this handsome face? Alright, so this person, he has a great contribution because he is the one as the most famous mathematician, famous philosopher in the place of Greece. Do you know who's this person? Okay, I will give to you some clues. So he is the one who gave the great or the accurate value of the pi in mathematics. The value of pi in mathematics. Who is this person? Alright, so his name is Archimedes. So Archimedes is one of the most famous person in the Greece who is a mathematician and a philosopher and who gave the accurate value of the pi in mathematics. Alright, so I have here the second picture. Okay, do you know this person? Can you name this person? So um, he is the one who is related, or his name is named after the Pythagorean theorem in mathematics. So from the word Pythagorean, alright, so his name is Pythagoras. So the Pythagorean theorem in mathematics is named after this person named Pythagoras or Pythagoras. So another thing also of contribution of this person is that he is the first person to think that our place or the planet Earth is round and that the planets are rotating along its axis. So he is the first person who said and to think that our planet Earth is round and the planets are rotating along its axis, right? And also in the fields of mathematics, he is known as the father of numbers. Remember, class, that the father of numbers is Pythagoras, whose name named after the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so we have here the third picture. So who is this person's? So this is Alexander the Great. Okay, so he is the one of the military geniuses of all time in the Greece. So he is very intelligent and a genius person in the place of Greece. So I have here also the third face. So we have here whose name. All right, so he is no who could forget the writer, the great ancient or the great famous epic poet of the writer of the Iliad and Odyssey. All right, so his name is right Homer. So Homer is the writer of the Iliads or the adventures of the Iliad and the Odyssey. All right, he is the Greek ancient epic poet. All right, so we have here the fifth face. So whose face is this? What is the name of the face of this person? So we have Socrates. So he is the founder of the Western philosophy, and also he is famous of the Socratic irony, who is famous to the known or the name of Socratic method. The Socratic method is named after this person named Socrates. So, and also he is famous in his great contributions in the field of ethics also, and took a great effort in improving the Athenian sense of justice. So when we say Athenians, these are the names of the people in the place of Greece. The Greeks or the Athenians, because the Athens is the capital city of the Greeks. The capital city of the Greece is Athens, so the people names are Athenian or the Greece or the Greek people. We have here Plato. So Plato is one of the classical thinker. If you know Plato, you can say that he is a great thinker, a classical thinker person. So he is an opponent of democracy in the place of Greece, and he thought that ruling a state it must be based on persuasion, must not be based on persuasion. It must be based on wisdom of the person. And also he believed that there are two worlds, there are two parallel worlds. So it is the first is the real world, and the second is the place or the world that which we live in, which is the reflection of the world. So those are some of the famous persons in the place of Greece. We have Archimedes. He is a mathematician and a philosopher, and he is the one who gave the accurate value of pi. We have the Pythagoras, named after the Pythagorean theorem, and also he think first that the earth is round and the planets are rotating around its axis. And of course, he is the father of numbers, remember that. And Alexander the Great, one of the most famous military geniuses, or the military genius and intelligent famous person in the place of Greece. And Homer, the ancient Greek epic poet and the writer of the Iliad and Odyssey. We have the Socrates. He is named the Socratic irony or the Socratic method, and he is also the one who defends the sense of justice of the Athenians. And we have the Plato, who is a classical thinker, and also he believed that there are two worlds, that the real world and the world that in which we live in, which is the reflection of the world. Alright, so those are the famous persons. Please be familiar of those, class. Now let us go over on the place of Greece. So Greece is can be said as a lovely and interesting place. This one, as I've said earlier, that it is one of the most famous since it is a beautiful and interesting place. And I can say that you should never miss to visit this place if you have the chance to visit or to go uh, in this place. So since that this place is known for its beautiful historical spots, it has a great or it has an historical grandeur of array of historical spots that no one could never imagine with. So that no one could imagine with. You mean to say that this place is very beautiful because no one could really imagine the beautiful, how beautiful this place. If you will go in this place, it will captivate your heart. The most famous places or the places that you're going to visit in this place, in this country of Greece, it will surely captivate your mind and heart. And also, if you're going to ask me why I can say this, that it really captivates on everyone's heart and mind if ever they will visit on these famous places. If you will ask me if I already gone there, so I can say it's a no, of course. But you can have it, or you can travel, or you can feel a sense of its beauty, its grandeur, by reading some Greek stories, Greek books, or by simply watching Greek movies. You can really say that it is a very beautiful place, right? Because reading is also a way of traveling or exploring into another place, right? So now, since Greece is known for its famous places, so let us know all about some of the most famous places of this place. So we have first, yes, this one, the Athens. So this place, Athens, is the site of the Olympic stadium on some of those Olympic games in the ancient times of the ancient Greece. So Athens, as we know, that this is the capital city of the place of Greece, right? So we have, excuse me, so we have the second famous place in this Greece. We have here the Parthenon. It is one of the most famous relic because this place is a shrine dedicated to Athena. So Athena, it is said that Athena is one of the most famous character or the maiden character of some of the a goddess and the literary stories of Greece. So we have here also the third one. We have the Parliament building. It is a Syntagma Square. As what you can see in this picture, it is a Syntagma Square. And it is the one of the most important public place in this country because it was built for the royal palace of the king of Otto. So King Otto is a king who is dedicated, or who is the parliament building is built after him, or it is built for him. Then we have here Delphi. So Delphi is a significant religious centers in Greece. Is this one of the most significant or important religious centers in Greece, in where the Greek people are there to worship their gods. So we have also the Mycenae or the Mycenae. So it is an ancient city, it's one of the most ancient cities in Greece. It is the legendary capital region or the capital city of the Agamemnon, right? We have the current here, which is became the building commercial center in the Greece. As you can see, it is like a commercial center, which is one of the most beautiful place in this country. Then we have the last one of the most famous, or we should not forget, Sparta, the place of Sparta. This Sparta is a small city, as what you can see, it's just like a small city one, which is the site of the most important city-state during the classical period. So this is the small city, which is the site of the most important city-state during the classical period. Alright, so those are the some of the most what we call that important or famous places in that country. Those famous places and the famous persons that the Greece have, there is another promising contribution also that the Greece have. So what are those? So those are the Greece beliefs, cultures, and traditions. It is believed also that these cultures, traditions, and beliefs of Greece have become the impressive facets of the Greece to the world. So I mean to say, it have become as the major highlights or the beautiful assets that the Greece have, that the Greece is proud of in its country. So actually, class, the Greece has become the most interesting ideas of its greatest stories. So I mean to say that the Greece is having very great stories or beautiful stories, and it is very evident on some of their, or not just some, but most of their literary works, literary stories, in which we're going to read or we have time to read some of their literary stories. You actually feel or impressed on how the stories goes on how the Greek writers uses some of characters, the choices of the words, the events, and how the events goes, or how the certain plot begins, start, or end in the story. So I hope that you will find time to tackle, or I mean to read or to scan some of the literary works of the Greece, so that you can actually say that wow, it is very nice and it is very amazing and it is very worth it to watch or to read, or any other movies or some books that you can read about Greece stories. The Greece also class is actually as one of the famous places as having the magnificent cities and buildings. So aside from those famous places, there are also a lot of tall buildings which are very beautiful, magnificent tall buildings and cities that is have. So I hope that you will, if you have time, or in the future, you will never know that you can visit the Greece. So you can visit some of those magnificent buildings and cities that the Greece have. Okay, so some cultures also of the Greece is about your religions, because mostly the ancient Greek people considered their children also as a religious. So okay, so in the ancient Greek class, they believe in the myth. Some or mostly of the ancient Greek people, they believe in myth. So I mean to say, they believe in gods or deities. That is why some of the characters that the Greek writers uses in the story of the Greece, they uses or they portray gods and goddesses as the major characters in their stories, because they believe on gods and deities. They believe that these gods and deities walk along the people in the earth. They walk in the earth along with us, the human being. And they said, according to the Greek people, that these gods and deities are different from us as humans. Different in the sense that they are immortal. Seem to say that their life is having no death. So they could never die, unlike as humans that we have death. Also, the ancient Greek peoples are very deeply religious people. They are really religious in the sense that they worship many gods. They worship many gods because they believe that these gods appeared to be as a human form. They appeared to be as a human form. They believe that these gods who appeared to be a human form has a superhuman strength and magical powers. So those are some of the cultures of the Greek people, or the place of the Greek. And also, the Greek people also are very, very much, what do we call that, superstitious. Some of them are, they believe on such kind of superstitious beliefs also. And the ancient Greeks also considered as one of the most famous persons in this world. They have one of the most intelligent man and creator of God in this universe. In terms of the status role of the men and women in society in the Greece, the men and women don't have equal opportunities. I mean to say that they don't have the equal status in the society of the government of the Greece, because the man-dominated culture is practiced by them. So I mean to say that the men have given much the higher opportunities, the chance and the privilege, especially in the ruling, in the positioning, in leadership in the government, or any kinds of positions or leadership in the society of the Greece, while the women are not given the chance to take a role in the government. The women in the Greece assume only the lesser roles. And if ever also, if there are men who don't have roles in the government, or not having taking a leadership positions in the government, so they spend their time in hunting, in farming, or in trading goods, because these are some of those activities in the Greeks which are the Greek people are enjoyed to do with. In the Olympic Games also, which is very popular during those ancient times, the Olympic Games are allowed only for men, while the women are discriminated to join or to attend the said Olympic Games. Only the men are allowed to join the said Olympic Games, while some of the women are not allowed to join in this game. And if ever also there is a game that the women are allowed to join, this game is the only one game called the chariot racing, in which a horse owned by a woman or a woman is used to ride in a chariot racing. And if ever also a woman is wanted to join the said chariot racing, she can only join if the horse that she is going to use in that kind of race or game is owned by her. So if ever that the horse is not owned by that woman, so she is not allowed also to join the said game. So that is why the women are only assumed a lesser roles, unlike the men in the Greece. On the other hand, also the men or the husbands allowed their Greek wife to have some time to attend or to spend their time in attending like ceremonies, wedding ceremonies, rituals, festivals, or any religious ceremonies in their place, but in a short period of time only. So the men allowed the women, or the women are only allowed also to have some time in talking to their neighbor, female neighbors, or to spend their time in attending ceremonies, rituals, or any festivals in their place, but in a short period of time. Unlike the men that they don't have limitations of hours or times in spending their time outside their home. But also, unlike any other cultures that the women are discriminated or abused, the women in the Greek cities are not abused, because the Greek husband or the Greek men really love and cared their woman or their wife at home. That is why, unlike any other cultures that the women only spend their time at home and who are the one who do the or did all the household chores, in the Greece it is very unique, because the women or the housewife didn't do she is not the one who will do all the household chores or household works in her house, because in the Greek in the Greece the Greek people have their slaves. That is why slavery civilization is practiced, or is a very important role in the Greek civilization. So we will tackle later the civilization, I mean, of the Greek people or the Greece. So in the ancient Greeks also, they considered their children to be youth. So in a family, if they have children, so the family will consider the children as a youth until the children will reach the age of 30. So if ever that the children are age at 1 to 29, so they considered their children as a youth. So only if the children will reach their age at age of 30, so it is now not a youth. It is now called to be an adolescent or an adult in their family. So when a child also was born in a Greek family, so a naked father traditionally, it is a traditional cultures of the Greek people that when a child was born in an ancient Greek family, a naked father of the child carries his child in a ritual dance and roam around the household in their home. So the naked father carries her child in a ritual dance, dancing in a ritual dance, roaming around in their household. That is one of the traditional cultures of the Greeks. While the friends and the relatives of the baby sent gifts to the baby, and the family of the house of the baby being born decorated the doorway of their home with the wreath of olives. Wreath of olives, they will decorate a wreath of olives if ever the baby is boy. And if it is a girl, then a wreath of a wool is decorated into the doorway. That is some of the cultures and traditions of the Greek people. So and also, let us go over on the wedding traditions of the Greek. It's very unique. So the wedding traditions or the wedding traditions of the ancient Greek are very unique compared to the ancient Athens. Why? Because the wedding ceremony happens or started after the dark. Yes, it doesn't happen at daytime, but after the dark. So it is the night time. While in the wedding ceremony, while the wedding ceremony started, so the veiled bride traveled from her home to the home of the groom while standing in a chariot, while her family follows the chariot at foot. So the family of the bride will follows the groom, I mean the bride, in foot in a while standing in a chariot, while her friends of the bride and the groom will carry and will lead the way and playing music to scare away the evil spirits in the wedding ceremony. So that is the wedding traditions of the Greece. Now let us go over on the slavery practice or the slavery civilization of the Greece. So the slavery thing was an important part and took part a major role in the Greek civilization. So it can be found everywhere. So the slavery or the slaves people can be found everywhere in the Greece. So they work not only as a domestic servants but also as a farm workers, as a mine workers or shopkeepers or even a crew members. So we can find everywhere the slaves in the Greece as not just a domestic helpers but also farm workers, mine workers, shopkeepers, or even a crew member. So those are some of the works of the slaves in the Greece. So the female slaves in the Greece, he is the one who cook, clean, and worked in the field, while the man slaves watch the door of the house of the wife or the home of a family in the Greece to make sure that no one would come when the man or when the husband is away from her home. So except only for those female neighbors or female tutors of the children of the family. Okay, so there are many different ways also in Greece in which a person could have become a slave in Greece. So first is they might be born as a slavery. So I mean to say they are children or they are born of those other children of those slaves family or slave parents. Another thing also is the kidnapping, which is very popular or a common way in the Greece to have a slaves or to take a slaves as their slaves in their house. Another thing also is prisoners, whose prisoners who have been what do we call defeated in the battle of certain kinds of fight or war in their place. So those are the ways in which a slave person or a person in the Greece could be found or could be made as a slave in the Greece. Okay, another unique also culture in Greece is the name day. The name day celebration, because most of the Greek owe their names to a religious saints. So I mean to say that their names, most of the names of the Greek people are all or named after a religious saint in the Greece. So it is a very important traditions in Greece that takes place in the entire Greece. That everyone whose name coming from a saint celebrated by the church celebrates his name on a given day of the year. So for example, that a name of a certain a saint, for example, in us Philippines, so Maria, Virgin Maria. So it is celebrated on May 13. So it is the it's a born or it is not just born, but if ever a certain child is named after a saint, then it in the Greece it is a very important celebration for them that the day of the day or the name of that certain kind of child will celebrate the day of a given day of the year of the certain kind of a saint that is being celebrated that kind of year. Like also in other countries, Easter also is more important celebrated to the entire Greece. It is very important kind of celebration to the Greece. It is much important to the Christmas celebration from them. Where women also in this kind of celebration in Easter, the women dye eggs in red, while the godparents of the kids of the some of those kids in the Greece, their godparents buy a new pair of shoes, candles, and even clothes to the kids. while the exterior of the houses in the village of the Greece are whitewashed, and even the streets are being whitewashed also. That is a time of the Easter in the Greece. They also believe, the Greek people, the ancient Greek people, they believe in bread, that the bread is a gift of the god. And when a woman, or when they eat a certain kind of bread, they have a certain kind of traditions that a woman should bless the bread and makes a sign of the cross with a knife before slicing it. Okay, so another thing also, that some of the beliefs of the Greeks are, they believe in an evil eye. So what is an evil eye? So I mean to say that when someone can catch the evil eye or matiasma, then someone else jealous, compliment, or envy. So when a person who has caught the evil eye usually feels bad physically or psychologically. For example, it's an evil eye. So mean to say that it is a sign of an evil or a bad thing. So to avoid the miasma, or to avoid an evil eye, to be feel bad physically or psychologically, okay, so to avoid this, a person or the Greek person should wear a charm. It could be a little blue marble or a blue bracelet. Okay, so another entailing belief also of the Greeks is about knives, knife or knives, because they never had, or they never hand a knife to someone who asked for it. So if ever a person in the Greece is asking for a knife from another person, so they will never hand it to that person. Why? Because they are fear for it, that the person might have a fight to another person. So that is why instead of handling the, or hand or giving the certain knife to that person who asked for it, instead they put it on the table and then let that person who asked for it to take it. Okay. So they believe also in splitting chases. So what is splitting chases? So they believe in splitting that chases the devil and misfortune away. That is why when someone talks about bad news like accidents, deaths, or any other kind of bad news, okay, so they spit chases on it. So when someone also compliment badly, or compliment from the beauty from a child, they spend the time for a child also. So for example, when someone compliments the beauty of your kind of baby, the beauty, the kind of a certain person's, an adult, not just a baby but an adult also, so they will chase that complimented person from. In us Philippines, we got that kind of belief also. For example, when somebody tells you you're beautiful, you are too much beautiful, or you're too much handsome, you're too much big, or you're too much cute, or something like any other compliment. So we Filipinos, what we're going to do? So what we usually do? So we tend to spit the chases. So that is kind of the belief, or some of the beliefs of the Greek people. So the Greek came up with the most interesting ideas on how the superstitious beliefs they have. Okay, also, so lastly, also when two persons, so what, this is one of their beliefs also, when two persons, the same persons, when two persons say all together the same thing, so when they talk something or say something together in a certain time, okay, so they both have to touch only a red item. So for example, for us Filipinos, kung magdungan tag istorya sa usa ka butang, kung magdungan tag istorya sa usa ka word, so in Greece they have to say piasikikonos. So mean to say piasikikonos means it is a sign that it is the devil should take away, or the misfortune should take away. And also both the two persons should touch anything that the color is red. So those are some of the beliefs of the uh, Greek people. So those are some of those explanations and discussions about the Greek cultures, traditions, and their beliefs. So I hope that you learn something and you learn interesting ideas today. So by this time, I want you to take a deep breath and imagine how the beautiful the place of Greece is. How the beauty of the Greece really an amazing one, an impressive one to us. So I hope that you are learning something today. And if you have questions or queries, So you can feel free to ask from me in our GC, or you can private message me in my Facebook account, on my Gmail account. Okay, that is all for today. Let's call it a day and have a good day.